Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
Your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We now pause for station identification. This is the Community Radio Network, WCRN, 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Smithfield, North Carolina. Proud to be in the USA. We are CRN. We are CRN.
Stay tuned. We're live in 3 minutes. We're live in 2 minutes.
We are CRN.
Stay tuned. We're live in 1 minute. Seconds until showtime. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Look at you go. The one-trip grocery champ, snooze button resistor, master sock matcher. We know the daily grind can be tough, but amidst the hustle, we see you conquer it all. And at Scooters Coffee, we believe it's the little wins that deserve some big moments of joy. So go on, embrace that tiny triumph. You master parallel parker you. Take that victory lap and savor the sweet taste of success. Scooters Coffee, you didn't just order it, you earned it.
Atwell Exterior Services, the time is now. With mortgage interest rates up, so many smart homeowners are renovating rather than moving right now, and those who hire Atwell Exterior Services in Greenville are thrilled that they did. For residential roof replacement, roof repairs, roof inspections, and more, done right by a local family business with awesome customer reviews, please visit AtwellEXTServices.com or call to set up a free inspection. Atwell Exterior Services, honesty, integrity, experience. The time is now.
The North Carolina High School Athletic Association welcomes you to tonight's game.
We are excited to celebrate the hashtag NCHSAA Game Locked In, which honors everything that makes high school sports special.
Let's continue to create a positive, welcoming environment for everyone. Cheer loudly, support your team, show respect to officials, opponents, and each other.
Let's make tonight's game one to remember, full of pride, positivity, and what it means to be truly locked in.
Like, follow, and share the Community Radio Network via social media and Facebook at CRN Community Radio Network. Also, check us out on X, Instagram, and TikTok at CRN Sports. As always, remember to listen to the games live on your radio dial at 87.9 FM and anywhere worldwide, always at wearecrn.com. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network. Since 2018, CRN, proud to be the voice of the Clayton Comets. The following is an exclusive broadcast presentation of the Community Radio Network. We are CRN.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent. We hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Well, it's Christmas and we move forward into the new year of 2026. We also prepare for the return of Comets basketball live on this Saturday morning, Saturday night, later on in Goldsboro. We're in Clayton at Cleveland, the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. And for the first time in 3 years, Comets basketball is ready to be the lid lifter for the 2025 edition of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic in Cleveland. It's one of those special basketball tournaments honoring one of the special men in Cleveland High School of football, basketball, as a teacher, all that he did, Mr. John Jacobs. It's always a privilege and an honor to bring this one to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to our coverage. Outside, inside it's beautiful. Outside it's 51 degrees, sunny skies, a lot different than it was yesterday. And we welcome you inside the broadcast booth as we get ready for tip-off. As always, it's always glad to be with you wherever you are, Comet Country, or even the Rams for that matter. We get ready for a great game to start things off between the Raleigh team, that is the Grace Christian Eagles, and they will get ready to prepare to take on what will be the, obviously, Clayton Comets. Grace Christian is a good team. They're 8-4. The Clayton Comets, obviously, are sitting at a record of 5-2. On the season as well. Welcome to the pregame show here at the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. Again, welcome inside the broadcast booth up topside. It's been a while besides covering conference basketball between Cleveland and Clayton, and we'll worry about that later on in the season, right? But one of the other cool things is to cover the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. Again, I'm Wesley Outland, Ryan Tomford alongside, fresh in from New York. And Ryan, you're ready to experience what is this tournament. So it starts here in a few minutes, about 11 minutes from tip-off between Grace Christian and Clayton. And that is the first of many games today, and then, of course, they'll take off for a rest on Sunday, Sabbath day, if you will, and then they come back strong on Monday and Tuesday before we ring in the new year, and they'll have basketball for the next couple of days. It's really cool, something we haven't done in about 3 years. Last time we were here was the Lady Comets under the direction, of course, before they were a part of the John Wall Holiday Invitational. The men played here at Cleveland. The ladies were at Cary at the John Wall. And then, of course, this year, the Lady Comets in 3 years are back in this tournament, and we're looking forward to seeing what we got. What are you going to be watching, Ryan, for this game? It's a really good team, 8-4, 5-2. Obviously, Clayton's got to pick up where they lost a game against Southeast Raleigh last time they played a couple of obviously a Friday ago before Christmas, and That's conference play. This is tournament play. But we're going to see a really good game. I think Grace Christian is a team that if Clayton can work good with Yazana Lee Randall under the basket, find those layups, I think we should see a good game for Clayton.
Yeah, I mean, we should see a good game today. I was talking to both of the coaches. Both of them are excited for their team to play today. And, Grace Christian, I was talking to his coach earlier, and he said, they are 8-4 on the season, but they've chosen, difficult opponents all season long. So, they're ready to, they're prepared and ready to go for this tournament. And I was also talking to the Clayton coach, and he's said that they are missing a few of their players today.
Sure.
Christmas plans got in the way of a few players being here, so that might affect some of the teams. And both of these teams are coming off of a loss, so they are both excited and hoping to get a win today.
Yeah, Grace Christian is coming off of a loss recently. Last time they played, Clayton Comets coming off of a loss to Southeast Raleigh, as I mentioned, and currently they're sitting, of course, at 8-4 for the Eagles and 5-2 for the Comets. Now, obviously, this is the first of many games today. As we mentioned, Clayton and Grace Christian coming up in about, less than 9 minutes' time. Corinth Holder Pirates and Rocky Mount, they're going to play coming up at 1 o'clock. And then, of course, at 4 o'clock, Nash Central and West Johnston Wildcats. And the nightcap will be the Millbrook Wildcats coming off of a state championship loss in football to Huff. They will get back to the court and take on the Cleveland Rams, the host school for the John Jacobs Holiday Invitational, the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. Want to make sure I said that right. And you win, you go on to the winner bracket. You lose, you go to the loser bracket. I say that in no disrespect to anybody out there. The word might be better, consolation bracket. But you still continue to play, Ryan, today, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yeah, and you definitely want to get in that, winner bracket and continue towards that championship game, on the 30th. So, both of these teams are going to try their hardest to get a win today.
Yeah, those are the girls' games, by the way. There is, of course, 8 games today on the schedule. Clayton, Grace Christian, 8 minutes from tip-off. Then at 1 o'clock for the ladies, Corinth Colders, Rocky Mount. And then Nash Central, West Johnston at 4. 7 o'clock is Millbrook and Cleveland. For the men, that'll be coming up first game after this one. Wake Christian and Terry Sanford. Ravenscroft and Rocky Mount Griffins at 2:30. At 5:30, Nash Central and West Johnston. And finally, the Cleveland men basketball team will take on Cape Fear Christian. You win, you advance, you lose, you go to the consolation bracket. And it's that simple. I'm ready to get this thing tipped up in the air here.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I feel like we're echoing. There's a crowd coming in besides Athletic Director Joseph Capps. We were the first people here in the parking lot, in the building, setting up production. So thank you to Cleveland AD Joseph Capps for letting us come in early and get things ready to go. It takes some massive work. And here comes Nathan. Take our ugly mugs off the camera. You can see more of the fans beginning to file in. They're getting ready to come in and take in the excitement that is the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. We're just getting started. Tip-off around the corner. We're back after radio timeout. This is Comets basketball. Happy New Year.
I'm your football obsessed best man. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate. I'm your overly competitive brother. I'm ready for a rematch. Game on.
I've been practicing.
What, the cello? You want me to lower the hoop?
Foul.
What, are you going to tell me again?
Foul.
Yeah.
Foul, bro.
Here, take a free shot. Go ahead, knock
You're
yourself
about to get served.
Seriously?
Get Allstate. Save money and be protected from mayhem. Like me. Love you, Mom.
Wait till your father gets home.
From Clayton, this is the John Jacobs Christmas Classic on the Community Radio Network.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Fractions of a second can be the difference between victory and defeat at the finish line. America's favorite bouldering is back in action for a summer of Friday night NASCAR Regional Series racing. Tickets are just $15 and available online in advance at WCSpeedway.com or at the gate starting at 6 on race nights. Wake County Speedway, 10 minutes south of downtown Raleigh. WCSpeedway.com.
Hey, want to remind you as well that the NFHS Network is streaming video coverage, as well as what we'll have for delayed on our CRN YouTube feed. But go to NFHS Network, have the little crowd in the background, put it on Community Radio Network, and you can hear the call of the game between Grace Christian and Clayton, obviously. Now, we're not doing the other games. Maybe we'll do some more on Monday and Tuesday, or maybe Tuesday, the championship games. And it also depends on how far Clayton goes in the bracket as well. But for right now, Ryan, we're getting ready for one game at hand, and that, of course, is the Clayton Lady Comets. Your take of what we've seen out of this team so far this year?
Yeah, I mean, they had that first initial loss at the beginning of the season, but, they had that good run of, 5 wins in a row, and, they looked very good as a team. So hopefully they can, get back to their winning ways today.
Grace Christian Eagles based out of Raleigh. They're 8-4. Clayton Comets are 5-2. Remember, this is the lid lifter for the kickoff of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic here at Cleveland. It is presented by Focus Outdoors. More details on focusoutdoors.com for social media. And again, get out here. This is just the first game of 8 games today. And then we come back and we do it again. And by the way, big thanks again to Mr. Joseph Capps, the AD for Cleveland, and Focus Outdoors sponsoring the tournament. The 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic presented by Focus Outdoors, and it is owned and operated by Cleveland High School graduate James Martinez from the class of 2017. In high school, James was a member of the 2014 and 15 conference champion football team. After high school, James worked in the concrete business, eventually started his own company in November of 2024. James rebranded his concrete business as Focus Outdoors and expanded his services to include grading, drainage, fireplaces, fire pits, retaining walls, land clearing, concrete sod install, fences, drywall install, pavers, landscaping, decks, and more. FocusOutdoorsNC.com. And, of course, they are the sponsor of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. It is the All-State pregame tip-off. 2 minutes away from getting started. We're about ready to get going here, Ryan.
Yeah, we're about to get going. And, I'm excited for today's game. Both of these teams, I've called Clayton's games, but, for Grace Christian, I used to watch a few of their games back in the day. One of my neighbors, I want to give him a shout out, Reese Schutte, was on the men's team back in 2020, and they really pride themselves on basketball at the school, and they always try to have a difficult schedule, and they are a tough team to beat.
Well, they're about ready to get this thing started. The officials are meeting with the coaches, including Bruce Hughes of Grace Christian, Daniel Casey as the new head coach of the Lady Comets, and they are getting ready for final instructions, and we're getting ready for tip-off as well.
Pause for station identification. This is the Community Radio Network, WCRN, 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Smithfield, North Carolina. Proud to be in the USA. We are CRN.
Well, we welcome you back high up top side here inside the John Jacobs Arena. John Jacobs Football Stadium of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic, presented by Focus Outdoors NC. Along with Ryan Tomford, I am Wesley Outlet. It is again an absolutely beautiful day here in the Clayton, Cleveland community. Nathan Outland, my son, spending the Christmas, New Year's with me, and he's also on the camera production. And we're going to have Derek Longe joining us with Ryan tonight and Nathan at Goldsboro. Don't forget the championship game of the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational will be tonight at 6:30 pregame, tip-off at 7. So we go from Cleveland at the John Jacobs Christmas Classic for the Lady Comets to the men later on tonight against, of course, Harold's Christian for the championship final game. And we're about ready for tip-off. Ryan, what you got, man, as we get ready to put the ball in the air?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good game, and, both of these teams are doing their last-minute preps before this game, and, both teams seem, focused and ready to go.
Had to make sure the crowd mic was on. Nathan, you ready? Rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 3 years since Clayton Athletics has been a part of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. Whether it's Comets men or women basketball, the Lady Comets are ready to christen the floor and have that renewal against the Wake Christian, the Wake County Raleigh team that is the Grace Christian Eagles. And we'll get ready for the tip-off and it seems like you can hear a pin drop. Tip-off underway in the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic has started. Clayton, Grace Christian, and you're starting it with a basket for 2 by Clayton to get it started. A referee tripped and he's on the floor. I wonder if he tripped on his ankles there. Tripped on his feet. Shoelaces got loose. Floor might be a little wet. I don't know. He's okay, though.
Yeah, just back battling and just tripped. But
they're going to clean the floor a little bit. Maybe it's a little more wetter than what we thought. So Clayton, by the way, they find the basket by number 10 for the Comets quickly of Kelsey Chandler. All right. Everything good. Clayton, referees back on the feet, and we get back underway. Let's see what Grace Christian will do. They're donning the white with the pink. They're the home squad, obviously, for this tournament. Clayton is on the black on black with the blue numbers and white trim. Clayton in the front of their jerseys for the away squad as we now see what Grace Christian will be able to do. Go inside, try to finish. 5-8, could not get the ball in the net. That was Aubrey Smith. Do not know who number 8 was. There's a jersey change. So, actually, my apologies. I think it was number 2, actually, of Audrey Lester. But anyhow, Clayton got the rebound back. Already a minute gone here, and quick rebound picked up by Grace Christian. White on white with pink for the Eagles. And there's a foul being called. Looks like it's going to be against Clayton for the first time here of the day.
Yeah, we've seen Grace.
Non-shooting foul, by the way, also.
We've seen Grace Christian, drive to the hoop a few times. We see Campbell on that last play drive strong to the hoop, but couldn't get a bucket.
Foul against the Comets. Remember, up to 5 fouls per period. It'll reset. Double bonus if you get 5 or more. No one-on-ones as they go up the middle. Grace Christian could not find the net. That was Audrey Lester. And the rebound picked up by number 12, Krista Green. She looks inside, finds somebody there. They try to get it to Chandler. Bounces off the rim. Rebound no good. They'll get it back. And it looks like it's going to be last touch by the Comets out of bounds. So it'll be Wake County team Grace Christian to inbound it here, Ryan.
Yeah, Grace Christian inbounding. They haven't been able to get a bucket so far, but they are, trying a different set plays to get a score on the board.
And they're trying to get it back to the hands of Lester. Lester tried to get it to 5 of Aubrey Smith under the paint to the baseline. They'll throw it away. It'll go back to the Comets.
Yeah, it seems like Grace Christian is trying to focus, getting points around the paint area. They've given up a few opportunities around that 3-point line to drive or kick it into someone in the paint so far.
Coming up next will be the men. Wake Christian Eagles taking on Terry Sanford. Remember, our coverage only on CRN for Comets basketball today. Then we got to prepare to be in Goldsboro this afternoon. Pregame at 6:30, tip-off at 7. Right now, 2-0 your score for Clayton. As Grace Christian still not able to find the net yet. That was an attempt by Barrett Campbell and came up short.
Clayton almost just lost the ball there, trying to drive up the court, but got it back.
They're just continuing all they can to stay in this fight now. 5.5 minutes. Shot up. Shot for three. That's presented by W Energy if they put it in the cylinder. Unfortunately, they did not. Rebound goes right back to Grace Christian Eagles. Again, pink on white for Grace Christian. Kind of like celebrating October and Breast Cancer Awareness Month after Christmas. And the Lady Eagles finally find a basket. And we now tie it up at 2-all here.
Yeah, Campbell finally got one to fall there. You know, she tried a few times on the last few possessions to get a dry bucket, but finally got one.
Big three! Boom! Gabrielle Good. That's the first W Energy 3 of the day for the Comets. You were saying, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like Grace Christian is just continuing going back to the same place. And, you know, now it seems like Clayton has got that sort of figured out as, you know, they were able to defend that drive.
Turnover by Grace Christian. We'll go back to the Comets again. Chandler and Gabrielle Good with the points so far. 5-2 your score. Clayton up by 3. And the Comets will get the ball back after Grace Christian turned it over. Winner advances on to the championships bracket. The team goes to the consolation bracket beginning on Monday. They are off tomorrow. 4 minutes as we head to the midway point of the first period. Trying to go for 3. No one home. Rebound. Another attempt. Grace Christian falling, coming up short again, Ryan. I just can't believe the way they're playing right now. But Clayton obviously up by only 3. So if Grace Christian can find a 3-point shot, they're right back in this thing again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, something that Grace Christian, even though they're down 3, is something that they're doing well is, you know, they're getting those offensive rebounds and, you know, getting a lot of second chances, but it seems like nothing's falling for them so far.
Yeah, they'll turn it over again. It looks like Clayton will and give it back to Grace Christian, as right now they'll inbound it. Number 5 will. That, of course, is Aubrey Smith. Aubrey Smith then gets it back to Barrett Campbell. They're trying to attack Campbell and keep her behind the side, and I think they just turned it over, but I think they got a foul out of the deal. They're going to call a foul, I think, on the Comets. That'll be the second one. So 2 fouls on Clayton, no fouls on Grace Christian, non-shooting foul. And it'll be now Grace Christian to inbound it. And they throw it away. Miscommunication there for the Eagles, and it'll go right back to the Comets again, Ryan. That worked out perfectly.
No, it seems like it just went off of the hand of a Clayton's player on the pass.
They change their mind. And let's see if they find the basket on the layup. They will, and that inbound turns into a quick 2, and Clayton only up by 1. 3 minutes left to go in the opening period of the first game of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic. As now shot for 3, no good. Attempt by number 5 for the Comets. Yazana Lee Randall, the senior. And right now it is a 1-point lead for Clayton. Not a very high-scoring first period, Ryan. And now, for the first time tonight, I'm going to say that a lot tonight, right? This morning, for the first time this morning, the Eagles are going to the lead by 1, 6-5. Clayton responds back. Nice shot in the net for 2 and good. That, by the way, was Gabrielle Good. Far left wing under the baseline. Found the paint, put it in.
Yeah.
Clayton up by 1 again. 7-6, and there's going to be a push there. Clayton foul number 3. That's going to be a foul on Comets number 12 of Krista Green. That's the 3rd foul. It's a non-shooting foul, but it is going to give Grace Christian the inbound. Grace Christian out of Wake County, based out of Raleigh. Shot for 2, number 5, Aubrey Smith, and they go back to the lead again, Ryan.
Yeah, it seems like they're going back and forth now, and you know they've started to get the shooting going with 2 minutes left in the first.
Yeah, 8-7 to 1-point lead. Clayton Not able to finish under the basket, and the rebound goes back to Grace Christian. Coming up later tonight, Harrell's Christian. Crusaders, Clayton Comets for the championship of the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational. And we have got a timeout being taken by Clayton. Clayton will take a timeout. That'll let us step away and take one with him. We're back in a moment. From the John Jacobs Christmas Classic, this is Comets basketball.
Timeout, timeout, timeout!
Listen up, get tight.
This is the most important timeout I've ever called.
Things are getting out of control out there, and we need to regroup.
Hate.
Hate?
Hate is winning out there.
Not on these fields.
In our communities. On our streets. In our schools.
And we need to stop it.
So let's take this moment
To change the momentum.
and call a timeout
On hate. Together.
Together.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Back to it again on the court after the timeout. 7-Eleven's a good gas station to go to. Right now it's 11-7. The Eagles up front by 4. Clayton trying to get back in this thing as it tries to bounce off the rim. Could not let it fall. That was Clayton's number 21 of Reese Williams coming up short there, Ryan. And now it looks like Grace Christian's kind of caught fire here a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like Grace Christian, at the beginning of the game, they started out a little bit slow, but, they've got the scoring going, and, they now have a 4-point lead.
Yeah, 11-7 right now as Grace Christian will hold on. They'll inbound it. Back to the inbound pass. Nice drive. Setting up to get from Campbell to Lester. Instead, Audrey Lester can't get a paw on it. She'll turn it over and give it back to the Comets. Sanaya Birch will inbound it. Clayton ready to move back up court again. Going back to Krista Green. Krista Green to Randall. Bam! And Yazana Lee Randall finds a three. That's a W Energy three-point shot for the Comets, and they're only down by 1 now, but 1 minute left to go in the first period of the opening day of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic.
Yeah, cutting the lead down to 1, and now we see Grace Christian passing around the outside. Missed
turnover.
Three-pointer there.
Give it to, there you go. Finish it and find the net. She will. Number 21, Reese Williams. And Clayton now back up by 1 with 40 seconds left here in the first period. Go around the horn. Shot for 3. No good. That was an attempt by Barrett Campbell. Give it back to the Comets. Gabrielle Good looking inside. Tried to get it to Chandler. Instead, she'll turn it over and give it right back to the Eagles. 20 seconds left to go in the first period. Clayton up by 1. Shot now. No good off the rim. Picked up rebound there. Reese Williams hit the 3. Now back to Randall. Yazana Lee Randall slowing down the tempo. Looking inside. Going to Good. She'll get fouled. She's going to go to the line. She'll shoot 2 before the end of the first period here, Ryan.
Yeah, we got 3.8 seconds left to go in this first period, and she'll shoot 2 here.
So here comes Gabrielle Good, the point guard sophomore. She'll head to the free throw line. It's presented by Clayton Chiropractic. And the first one is in and out. Grace Christian coming into this game at 8-4. Clayton 5-2. 3 seconds left. Free throw goes in for the second free throw for Gabrielle Good. And that'll make it a 13-11 your score as we move to the end of the first period. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, it started out a little bit slow, but, once both teams caught fire, it was, a decently, high scoring first quarter. And, it's been a good game so far. Clayton Comets 13, Grace Christian Eagles 11.
First game of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic in Clayton at Cleveland. And Clayton up by 2. Second period when we come back. This is Comets basketball on CRN.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn.
But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Well, they got it started a little too quicker than I anticipated. We're back, and we start now the second period of this game. Ryan, what's your take of what we saw in the first? Obviously, Clayton up by 2 right now. Got the rebound. They're back on the court again on offense.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, a good first quarter there. We saw Grace Christian, take a lot of threes, but not make that many. So, hopefully, maybe they'll change the mindset up as we have a 3 there, I believe, from Clayton.
That's another W Energy 3-point shot. That'll make it 16-11. So it's a 5-point lead. 42 on the attempt for Grace Christian that time, but Kendall Morris, and Clayton instead's going to go foul. Remember, the fouls reset for every period. There is a foul. It's a shooting foul. And you're going to be sending Yazana Lee Randall to the charity stripe. She'll go back to the Clayton Chiropractic free throw line and shoot 2 here at Cleveland. First one up and good. So remember, the fouls reset each period up to 5. 5 leads to the double bonus, no longer one-on-one. And they did that the last couple of years to try to, Ryan, make the game go by quicker. As both free throws are good for Randall at the free throw line. It's a 7-point lead now.
Yeah, 7-point lead. And, those fouls, change in the recent years has definitely made the games go a lot quicker.
Right now, 7-point lead. Rebound coming back now. Give it to Reese Williams. Give it back to the Comets. Krista Green up the middle. Krista Green trying to find Chandler. Overshot the net. Fighting for the ball was Green, and they're going to call jump ball possession arrow for the Comets. I guess they had not changed the possession arrow, so they actually said, no, it's supposed to be Grace Christian basketball.
I believe that was like a push in the back foul.
It was a foul. You're exactly right.
Yeah, it was a foul.
I thought he called jump ball, maybe, too far away. 18-11 right now. Coach Daniel Casey looking on. It's his first year, along with Ashley Latta, an assistant for coaching the Lady Comets. First time in 3 years that they've been a part of a tournament. Last time they competed in a tournament, besides here at John Jacobs in 2022, was at the John Wall Holiday Invitational 2023. 18-11. Clayton right now up by 7 as here comes Grace Christian on the inbound, ready to see what Smith will do. Smith will look, fire. Short attempt by 33, Taylor Laraway. And the rebound back to the Comets. Reese Williams gets it back to Krista Green, up court, center circle. Fancy feet, turning it over. Green will. She gives it now to Grace Christian. Racing back, and she got her ball back. Oh, Aubrey Smith took it away, and Krista Green said, give me that ball back.
Yeah, that was great hustle. Go all the way back down the court and, save deny a bucket there for Grace Christian.
Access denied indeed for sure, man. 5.5 minutes left to go in the first half of this game. We're in the second period. Ryan Tompert, Wesley Outland, my son Nathan Outland, spending Christmas and New Year's with me. He's on the camera. 5.5 minutes left to go here in Cleveland. John Jacobs Christmas Classic, first time in 3 years, and Thanks again, as always, to Cleveland and AD Joseph Capps and everybody for the hospitality here. Let us in early this morning. Set up the equipment to get on the air, and obviously we appreciate that. Turnover. Grace Christian gives it back to the Comets. Pushing. I think they're going to call traveling. She put the ball in the net. It would have been good, but she's told no basket, traveling on Gabrielle Good. Gabrielle, that did go in the net, but they did call traveling on you. But she,
just lost her balance a
talent
little.
right there, right? 5 minutes left in the first half. It would have made it 20-11. Right now, a turnover. That, of course, was Peyton Banks. Sanaya Birch. My apologies. Going back to Grace Christian. Foot shot there for overshooting attempt for two was Aubrey Smith. She'll give it back to the Comets. Driving up the middle. Yazana Lee Randall turns it back over. Basket no good. Rebound back to the Eagles. And we've not seen anybody score here in at least the last 3 minutes, Ryan.
Yeah, both teams have gone a little bit cold here.
42 with a shot to the side of the wing. And that, of course, was Kendall Morris, the senior. No good. Rebound. Pick it up for the Comets. They're going to say it's a turnover. Give it back to the Christian. Grace Christian. And I think we got subs or timeout being called. Nope.
Yeah, just subs right here for
no
Grace
timeout
Christian.
call. They're just bringing in Clayton and Grace Christian calling some subs on. 18-11, 7-point lead. Grace Christian coming out of this game at 8-4. They lost their most recent game, as you mentioned, before the Christmas break. Clayton lost to Southeast Raleigh as well. 5-2 on the year. Clayton trying to get back into the winning column and, of course, advance to the winner bracket of the tournament. And the way if you win, you advance to later on in the afternoon. If you lose the opening game, then you go to the morning brackets. So right now, 18-11, Comets leading by 7 as we head into the final second half of the second period. Under 4 minutes remaining. Another shot for Clayton. No good, Ryan. And here comes Grace Christian again on the rebound.
Yeah, this points drought right now is continuing, and it doesn't seem like the ball doesn't want to go into any of the hoops right now.
Like Reese Williams was trying to keep the ball alive for the Comets on the takeover, but they're going to say she stepped over the baseline and give it back to Grace Christian. They'll have the inbound. 7-point lead as number 2 will inbound it. That's Audrey Lester. Lester back to Smith. Still nobody home. That was, of course, Audrey Lester. Give it back to the Comets. Nobody getting anything in the net in the last 4 or 5 minutes, it feels. 18-13. Randall now pressuring number 2. Number 3, my apologies, of Barrett Campbell. And finally, we find to see a basket score. 18-13. That, by the way, was Barrett Campbell, the freshman for the Eagles scoring. And now Clayton's got to respond back under the paint. Reese Williams, jump ball called instead. Possession arrow will go to Grace Christian.
Yeah, and those last points by Grace Christian were their first points, I believe, of this entire quarter. So, it's been only 7 points so far scored in the second quarter, so very low scoring quarter that we're having, and I think this is going to be maybe a trend that we see for the rest of the game of it's going to be a very close game and a defensive game, and if you can get a bucket real quick, it's going to matter a lot more.
Oh, Gabrielle Good found the bucket, as you just mentioned, and the Comets are now back up by 7. 20-13, 2:20, almost 5 minutes before Clayton or anybody scored. Grace Christian found the net. Then Clayton got it back. Yazana Lee Randall, senior, rebound, pushing up the middle. Will let the ball roll. Here comes Krista Green for saving the day, and the basket will count for 2. 22-13. If you want to call this hockey, I guess it would be the assist to Yazana Lee Randall as Krista Green finding the basket. We got a timeout on the court as well. They're down to 4 timeouts each as Grace Christian will take a timeout, and we'll be back as well. Dubby Energy provides high-quality energy drinks with a blend of natural ingredients, ensuring a clean and effective energy boost without the crash, later, or even the jitters. Dubby Energy is committed to helping individuals stay energized and perform at their best. When you need to have a little energy boost without all the lag or fatigue, let Dubby Energy take care of your body today. Use the promo code CRN for 10% off of your order every time. Dubby Energy. And a big thank you to Dubby Energy sponsoring the 3 points. Anytime the Comets hit a 3-pointer this season for Comets men or women basketball, Dubby Energy. Remember, mention hashtag CRN for 15% off of your order because it's the new year. Dubby Energy. We know about Dubby Energy through iRacing, Ryan.
Yeah.
Then I got them hooked up with the real deal. Ryan Tomford, Wesley Outland, Nathan on the camera. Welcome you back to Cleveland. John Jacobs Christmas Classic lid lifter of 2025, 22-13. And boy, good. Put a hand in there on Campbell. We ain't called a foul in a while, and they will.
Yeah, there's a foul on Grace Christian.
Sure will. Offensive foul. And Comets get the ball back. Birch moves up the paint, moves under the baseline, sets up now from Green. Green to Randall. Randall back to Green. And they'll move their way around the circle. Heading back to mid-center. Right now, Clayton just trying to run the clock out. Down to a minute and 20 seconds left. Randall up the middle. Tried to get it to 21 of Reese Williams. Instead, she let that ball go out because Grace Christian pressured Reese. And, of course, the ball last touched by Clayton. The Eagles get it back here. Closing in on a minute and a nickel left. A bucket of a nickel in the first half. 1:05. Now under a minute left to go. Comets back again on the rebound. Here comes Sanaya Birch. Trying to pivot foot, turn around to the 180 circle and not get called for traveling. Finds Randall. Randall sends it off to the far right. Shot for good. No for Gabrielle. Good. She tried to go for a 3. Instead, we got another whistle here.
Yeah, it'll be out of bounds.
Turnover back to the Eagles.
Out of bounds on Clayton. Grace Christian will go up the court now, and they're down by 9 points with 45 seconds left to go in this first half.
Don't forget, coming up, Clayton Peanut Company at the half. We'll assess the first half of this game. As right now, Clayton leading 22-13. Turnover. Last touch by the Comets. It'll stay Eagles basketball. Want to send a big thank you to Randy Caps and Joco Sports. They're promoting the John Jacobs Christmas Classic and, of course, promoting CRN broadcasting in it as well. And if you have NFHS Network, you can check out the stream of all the games, too. Right now, final 30 seconds left, under 30 seconds remaining. Try to get it to the big lady there of Kendall Morris. She turns it over, saves it, got it back, got it to Smith. Smith gets it back to Lester. Correction, I'm sorry, that's Barrett Campbell. Campbell and Lester look alike. And then finally get it back into the hands of Kendall Morris, the senior. Will find the net there for the Eagles, and it's 22-15. 2 seconds left. Clayton driving basket. Will go in at the horn. Reese Williams puts it in for 2 at the half. 24-15. And I was going to say, are they going to update the scoreboard? Maybe they were going to have a conversation if it given in, but I think she got her hand off the ball before it went in the net.
Yeah,
Clayton up 24-15 at half.
Definitely looked like she got it off in time, and they'll give her the points there. And it's 24 to 15 at the half, and Grace Christian, got the game started, quite hot. They got 11 points in that first quarter, but only 4 points, in the second, and it's allowed Clayton to have this pretty big, sizable lead going into the locker room, and there's a lot for both of these teams to talk about.
And right now, about 10 minutes before we actually start, what will be the second half, third period of the game. And I'll tell you what, there it is, 24-15. And I'll be honest, for both Grace Christian and Clayton, for a while there, Ryan, it seemed like they were struggling to find the net to put points in.
Yeah, I mean, we had a drought of, I think it was 3 or 4 minutes of no points, but once Clayton got a bucket in, they just continued scoring and, got a little bit of a run going, and, it allowed them to have this sizable lead going into the halftime.
Well, we can tell you this much. Clayton is awaiting the next game for the ladies, which will be at 1 o'clock, and that's the team that we used to play in conference play. No longer anymore. They moved up to 8A. The Corinth Holders Pirates will take on the Rocky Mount Griffins. That'll be at 1 o'clock, but the winner of this game of either Clayton or Grace Christian will play that team. And if you win, as I mentioned, if you win, then you move into the afternoon part of the schedule. If you lose, you go down to the morning schedule. And obviously, if you win this game, you move into the 4 o'clock matchup. So that is what you're shooting for right now, Ryan, for sure.
Yeah, and whoever wins today, if it's Clayton or Grace Christian, they're playing, they might play Rocky Mount, which was last year's tournament champion. So they are definitely a team to watch out for going through the entire tournament.
All right, 24-15. Clayton had a little bit of a slump, even Grace Christian too, but then they finally started to score. But I got to say, a lot of impressive play being showed, not only by Yazana Lee Randall, the senior, hitting a lot of W Energy threes, but not just her. Gabrielle Goods found the net, so has Chandler. Some big moves. And how about Reese Williams finding the basket before the horn? Can't really score out who's the best out there on the court. Clayton's really firing on all cylinders. If they just could find that time of not having that, bullseye or the block, if you will, not letting the ball go in the net. But as I said, it happened for Clayton, but it also happened for Grace Christian. And I think that really did slow down the tempo of the game for sure.
Yeah, and, in that second quarter, we saw Grace Christian, take a lot of threes, and, they weren't hitting too many of them. And, they sort of changed their game plan in that second quarter from the first, and it didn't seem like it worked too well. And, they weren't getting as many, offensive rebounds. They stretched their players a little bit more wide around the arc. So, maybe we'll see during this halftime, Grace Christian goes back to attacking the paint and, attacking the baskets more.
So here's the deal. If Clayton wins or Grace Christian, then they move into the winning part of the tournament of playing on Monday. You play at 4 o'clock. If you don't win this game, you still play again on Monday, but you move into the consolation part of the bracket, and that means that you'll be playing at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. So obviously, if you win, you want to get a little more chance to get some rest. Obviously, everybody's off tomorrow for Sunday, but I'm not saying that Grace Christian is not a really good team. I mean, they really have showed some opportunities. We've seen some moves inside the paint by number 42 of Kendall Morris. I think she had a lot to do with making a lot of big stops on Clayton for the Eagles. The senior Kendall Morris able to got the body, big, throw the elbow, try to get that ball back, and she finds the net. And, of course, also the great work by Aubrey Smith and Barrett Campbell for the Eagles, too.
Yeah, and, as you were talking about, Morris is, one of those powerhouse for Grace Christian. She's the leading rebounder for their team. So, she's been, dominating a lot of the rebounds in the first quarter. And, I didn't see too many in that second quarter. But, great player for Grace Christian. And, somebody that I haven't seen, get too hot for Grace Christian so far was Aubrey Lester. She is the top scorer for their team, and it just seems like she's gone cold today. And hopefully, for Grace Christian, she can get their scoring started in the second half.
Well, by the way, don't forget, this is just the first of 2 games for Comets basketball on CRN today. We'll be live later on this evening from Clayton at Cleveland to Goldsboro. We go to Goldsboro for what will be the big event, the final day of the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational. Clayton defeated Wilson Prep Tigers yesterday afternoon to advance to one of the championship games. Harrell's Christian Crusaders defeated Eastern Wayne Warriors last night, and those 2 teams of the Crusaders and our Clayton Comets will play for Coach Kenny Collins and the varsity men tonight. Pre-game from Goldsboro and the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational will begin at 6:30. Tip-off at 7. Obviously, Clayton looking to do good here for the ladies, and then we'll see what the men do tonight. Good team, though, is Harrell's Christian. They got a pretty good record, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for both of those teams. You know, it is the final of a tournament, so it's the 2 best teams going at it, and, you know, it's going to be a good one to watch in Goldsboro tonight.
Yeah, the Clayton varsity men took care of business, if you will, last night or yesterday afternoon, defeating, of course, the team that was the Wilson Prep Tigers with a win of 67-62, and that locks them into the championship game later tonight from the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational. 67-62, they won, and they'll take on Harrell's Christian later on. We're back here for the second half of the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. We'll take a radio timeout, as right now the Comets are leading 24-15 here at Cleveland. We're back in a moment. This is Comets basketball.
Look at you go. The one-trip grocery champ, snooze button resistor, master sock matcher. We know the daily grind can be tough, but amidst the hustle, we see you conquer it all. And at Scooters Coffee, we believe it's the little wins that deserve some big moments of joy. So go on, embrace that tiny triumph. You master parallel parker you. Take that victory lap and savor the sweet taste of success. Scooters Coffee, you didn't just order it, you earned it.
Atwell Exterior Services, the time is now. With mortgage interest rates up, so many smart homeowners are renovating rather than moving right now, and those who hire Atwell Exterior Services in Greenville are thrilled that they did. For residential roof replacement, roof repairs, roof inspections, and more, done right by a local family business with awesome customer reviews, please visit AtwellEXTServices.com or call to set up a free inspection. Atwell Exterior Services, honesty, integrity, experience. The time is now.
Eastern Technical Design Incorporated provides design and drafting services for commercial, industrial, and residential construction. Services include architectural renderings, preliminary plan design, as well as final construction drawings. These drawings include all the necessary structural, building, plumbing, and mechanical electrical plans as required to produce and deliver a finished building and/or structure. This company is proudly owned by LFRL's Tracy Brown. Eastern Technical Design. Contact them today at 252-245-1599 or email them at easterntechnicaldesign@gmail.com. Commercial, industrial, and residential construction. Eastern Technical Design is the perfect plan for your building needs. About ready to start the third period in just a moment. From the John Jacobs Christmas Classic, this is coverage of Comets basketball on the Community Radio Network.
Like, follow, and share the Community Radio Network via social media and Facebook at CRN Community Radio Network. Also, check us out on X, Instagram, and TikTok at CRN Sports. As always, remember to listen to the games live on your radio dial at 87.9 FM and anywhere worldwide, always at wearecrn.com. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network.
And we welcome you back. Cleveland in Clayton. 8 minutes goes up on the clock, and we're ready to start the second half of this lid lifter for the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic Coverage of Comets basketball on CRN. I'm Wesley Outland. Brian Tompert is alongside Nathan Outland on the camera. And Clayton will have the ball as we start the third period, Brian.
Yeah, and, during that halftime, it seemed like Clayton was very relaxed, and Grace Christian, it seemed a little bit more frantic to get some points on the board and close this lead.
Got to find a way to finish, if you will, as they move back inside. Out 4 out of the 5 players of the Eagles got the ball, but Grace Christian could still not find the net. Clayton, though, rolls one around the rim, give it back to Krista Green. She'll put, I thought it was going in. It was like a popcorn popper. Orville Redenbacher at the top of the rim saying, no way.
Yeah, that, it almost went in, but it popped out right at the last moment. And, Grace Christian now will drive down the court.
24-15 now. They move back inside, back to 5. That's Aubrey Smith. Then there'll be a whistle, and they'll call a foul. Remember, the fouls reset each time. Actually, correction, they didn't call a foul. My bad. Just said it was out of play. Give the ball back to Grace Christian. Instead, give it back to the Comets. Randall, Yazana Lee Randall, up the middle, 2-on-1. Got her hand there to Reese Williams, but unfortunately couldn't finish, and a rebound back to the Eagles.
Yeah, now the Eagles will go down the court.
Derek Longe, by the way, will be joining Nathan and Brian and myself at Goldsboro later tonight. Thanks again, as always, to Kai Jones. Shot for 3. Good. Audrey Lester for the Eagles. Boy, how long has it been since they've scored here in a game, Brian?
Yeah, it's been a while since Grace Christian has gotten a few points, and their top scorer has now gone on the board with that 3-pointer.
24-18, 6.5 minutes left to go. Clayton yet to find a net. 24-18 as we move back inside. Let's go back to the deuce. Audrey Lester. Lester now hands it back to Campbell. Campbell, Lester pressures. Krista Green.
Grace Christian turned the ball over there.
Yeah, what a good job there. Krista Green pressured Grace Christian, and made him turn it over. And now Sanaya Birch. Looks like she's going to get a chance to go to the line. So we got a foul. It's a non-shooting foul? No. She's going
non-shooting foul.
It is a non-shooting foul. Wow, I thought it was.
Yeah, because she was just passing the ball out there, trying to do a outlook pass there.
She was making an effort to try to get to the net, but they said no, non-shooting foul. By the way, 1 foul on Grace Christian, none on Clayton. Basket and 1, and that one will go in. Yazana Lee Randall up the middle, basket and 1. She'll try to make it a 3-point play. Send her back to the Clayton Chiropractic free throw line. And off the front of the rim, rebound picked up though by Williams. She'll turn it back over. Does she get it back? They'll say last touch by Clayton, and it'll be back to Eagles basketball. That was a big valiant effort, though, by Reese Williams, Brian, to go 2-on-1, and she almost got her paws on it and got the ball back for Clayton.
Yeah, she dove in there a little bit too aggressively, and ball was given back to Grace Christian, but great effort to try to get the ball.
26-18 as we move into the 5.5 minutes left. Another turnover by the Eagles, give it back to the Comets. 8-4, Grace Christian Eagles. 5-2, Clayton Comets. Back inside. Williams looking for good back to Green. Green, shot for 3. It is another W Energy 3 for the Comets, and it's 29-18 with 5 minutes left in the third period.
Yeah, now 11-point lead for Clayton. They're getting.
I feel like that's the biggest lead they've had, ain't it?
It is the biggest lead they've had all day. So almost stolen there by Clayton, but they are getting hot so far in this third period.
Sanaya Birch got her big paws on it, but she deflected it into the crowd. Couldn't get it reeled in to keep possession, if you will. Under 5 minutes, we're right into the third period. 29-18. Coming up next, Wake Christian and Terry Sanford men will play. Corinth Holders and Rocky Mount, they play later on. And the winner of that game will play either or Grace Christian or Clayton. 29-18 in the third period. Up the middle. trying to use the backboard to help her. Got a rebound back, though. Fighting for it. Reese Williams, 3-on-1. Instead, they're going to call a foul on the floor. And instead, it's going to be an offensive foul on Reese Williams.
Yeah, foul there on number
That's 2 now.
21 on Clayton.
Yeah. Reese Williams was called for the foul. 29-18, Williams will come out for a moment. Coach Casey and Coach Latta telling Williams to just come off court for a second. She actually leaves the bench. I don't know where she went. 29-18 as we head to the midway point of the third period. Okay, she just got some water.
Just water.
She's sitting down. She's chilling. Shot for 3 by number 3, Barrett Campbell for the Eagles. No good. Give it back to Randall. Yazana Lee Randall fires a 3, and she'll put it in. Another W Energy 3 by senior Yazana Lee Randall. It's 32-18, and Clayton continues to increase their biggest lead. Coach for timeout called for the Eagles. They're down to 3. Clayton's got 4, and we'll take a timeout as well.
The North Carolina High School Athletic Association welcomes you to tonight's game. We are excited to celebrate the hashtag NCHSAA Game Locked In, which honors everything that makes high school sports special.
Let's continue to create a positive, welcoming environment for everyone. Cheer loudly, support your team, show respect to officials, opponents, and each other.
Let's make tonight's game one to remember, full of pride, positivity, and what it means to be truly locked in.
So, timeout expiring. 32-18. Clayton in the lead for the opening game of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic at Cleveland on CRN. 32-18 as we're heading to the midway point. Good, strong effort. Clayton struggled a little bit coming off the gate, but now they found a rhythm, and they're pulling away and not looking back here, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean,
another rebound by the Comets.
They found their footing, and, they're continuing to go as
Randall basket one again.
A 2-pointer there and a foul, and, this is, Clayton's got to continue doing this. I just heard during that last timeout, coach for Clayton, Daniel Casey was saying, keep in it, even though that they have the lead, they've got a lot of difficult competition coming up in the future games, so they've got to prepare and be good in every game.
Made that free throw as well, presented by Clayton Chiropractic. 35-18 as we had to 3.5 left in the third. Randall right up the middle again. Off the rim though, rebound Williams is there. It's gonna bounce in and find the net. 37-18, and the biggest lead for the Comets continue at just the right time here at the end of the third period with 3 minutes left, Ryan.
Yeah, they're continuing to increase their lead as, it just doesn't seem like anything is falling for Grace Christian at all.
Kennedy Barnes tried to go for a shot, no good. It seems like the floodgates have opened at the rim for the Comets as, again, Krista Green will find another 2. 39-18. Running away with this one now. 2:43 left to go here in the third period. Winner will advance to the afternoon game at 4 on Monday to play either or Cornholder or Rocky Mount. Shot for 3 and good. It will be finally for number 5, Aubrey Smith. She'll get a 3-pointer. 39-21. 2.5 minutes here left, gone. And finally, it seemed like there was like a do not enter ball on the rim over there. We saw it struggle for Clayton too in the second period. Finally, maybe things are going to change for the Eagles as right now Clayton leading 39-21.
Yeah, just
turnover back to the Eagles.
It doesn't seem like anyone can, get points on that other side of the court.
I mean, am I right or am I right?
I mean, very little points have gone into that bucket so far today, but Grace Christian slightly closing the lead, but is 21-39 with just under 2 minutes to go here in the third period.
Harrell's Christian Academy and Clayton men later tonight in Goldsboro. Heading to the final 100 seconds of the third period. Going around the horn, Smith to Lester. Going to go to the big lady there inside. That's going to be the senior Kendall Morris. We saw her make some noise in the first half, but she's kind of struggling now. Clayton got it back, roundabout, under the body. Got it there, Green. And Randall. And they score another 2. Nice work there for Clayton. And it's a 20-point lead for the first time for the Comets. Their biggest lead right now, catching fire. 1 minute left to go in the third period. And a roll around the rim for Kendall Morris, the senior for Grace Christian, but they do find for the net in 2, Ryan.
Yeah, Grace Christian only 5 points again this quarter, and, it just seems like they get a few buckets, at the end of the quarters, and, it seems like they struggle at the beginnings.
Subs are coming in for Wake County's Grace Christian Eagles. Coach Bruce Hughes, as well as Audrey George and Corrine Folk. Shot for 3, Randall, no good. But a whistle, and it's going to be called out of bounds on the Eagles. They stepped over the baseline, if you will, out of bounds. Comets will keep the ball.
Yeah, Comets will inbound the ball here with, just 40 seconds to go.
Randall up high, one hands the ball and finds the rim, and 2 and good. 43-23, Comets up by 20. Under 30 seconds left in the third period. Smith going back to Campbell. Campbell back from Smith. Smith now hands it to 33. Shot for 3. No good by Taylor Laraway. They get the rebound. Clayton will. Give it to Randall. 1 to beat to the basket. Basket's in on the layup and 2 and good. 45-23. We're under 10 seconds left in the third period, Ryan.
Yeah, 10 seconds to go.
Shot 3, and they put it in before the end of the third. 45-26 at the end of 3. Boy, Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Clayton got their scoring going. It seemed like Randall was getting a lot of points there inside the paint, and, they've got hot, and they just need to continue this into the fourth quarter and finish out this game strong.
The biggest lead for the Comets, the Lady Comets, doing it good in Cleveland. Trying to advance to the next round of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic. And we go to the final period of play here next. This is Comets basketball.
The North Carolina High School Athletic Association welcomes you to tonight's game. We are excited to celebrate the hashtag NCHSAA Game Locked In, which honors everything that makes high school sports special.
Let's continue to create a positive, welcoming environment for everyone. Cheer loudly, support your team, show respect to officials, opponents, and each other.
Let's make tonight's game one to remember, full of pride, positivity, and what it means to be truly locked in.
We now pause for station identification. This is the Community Radio Network, WCRN, 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Smithfield, North Carolina. Proud to be in the USA. We are CRN.
The fourth period is started. Eagles got the ball first, but they turn it right back over to the Comets. Clayton ready to have a strong fourth. Randall, W Energy 3, and it goes rolling in and out. Rebound, though, back to the Eagles.
Yeah, so close to going in, but just falling outside the rim. And, Grace Christian now will bring up the ball up the court.
45-26, Ryan Tomper, Nathan Outland on production. I'm Wesley Outland. Derek Longe will join us on the broadcast coverage at Goldsboro for the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational later today. Coverage will begin at 6:30. Our game will be at 7 o'clock, but the Lady Comets doing what they need to do here, and I am surprised. I thought Grace Christian was going to give them a run for the money. Clayton is taking care of this team.
Grace Christian is definitely one of the tougher teams.
Yeah, they are.
In this entire tournament, and Clayton's, not just beating them, they're dominating them. They dominated so far that third quarter, and they've done a great job so far.
Gabrielle Good, 45-26. Clayton got it back again. Gabrielle Good still tried for the third time to try to put the ball in the net, and she still can't do it. Now comes the Eagles. They'll go for a shot for three by Audrey Lester. It's no good. Randall, layup and good for two for Clayton.
Wide open layup there, and timeout called by Grace Christian.
Grace Christian is down to 2 timeouts. Clayton has 4, and that'll let us step away and take one with them as well.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
I'm a guy who lost a bet and my dignity. As if watching my team lose wasn't punishment enough. What are you looking at, huh? It's a 1-speed. And if you have cut rate car insurance, odds are you'd be paying for that yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me. Hey, I'm walking here.
Always big thanks to Allstate. Remember, Comet Country, you're in good hands. As the new season approaches and the new year for 2026, get yourself a great quote on home, life, auto, or more with an Allstate agent near you. 6 minutes left to go in regulation, the opening game of the Christmas Classic in memory homage of John Jacobs. And right now, Clayton leading 47-26. As right now, the Eagles trying to get something offensively going. Morris going to go for 3. Boom. Kendall Morris with a 3-point shot there, Ryan.
Yeah, getting the scoring going for Grace Christian at this fourth quarter.
Shot for 3. No good there by Krista Green. Get back to the Comets again. Eagles take it back on the rebound. Up court with it will be Barrett Campbell. 47-29. This game heading to the end of the fourth. We'll await either Corinth holders or Rocky Mount for the game. Unless something happens here, Clayton advancing to the champion or to the winning round for a 4 o'clock game. And another basket in and good there. We hit 49-29, and Clayton now up by 20 here again.
Yeah, Clayton's not stopped scoring and, continuing to, expand on their lead.
Now they really have it as 13-5 get their hands on it. That's Davis to Smith. And just a little not in sync for those players for Grace Christian. And if you're Clayton, and we've seen this happen for the men and the women in the fourth period, hold on to that lead, right? Just survive in advance, if you will. That's tournament play.
Yeah, even though that you're up 20, it is a tournament and anything can happen. So, they got to continue putting on the pressure and keeping this lead as we see Clayton driving up the court now. As Randall's there to get the 2-pointer. Layup. It'll now be 29-50 to 51.
$51-29 right now. Another 2 for the Comets as they're continuing to take this thing to the midway point of the regulation fourth period. Clayton trying to get a hand on there. They're going to call a foul. Foul on Krista Green there.
They were fighting for that ball in the corner there.
Nathan Outlet on the camera. Ryan Tomford, Wesley Outlet here with you. It's like subs are coming in. Birch and Williams will take a rest. Sanaya Birch has done a good job. Reese Williams as well. New players on subs are in. And looks like Coach Daniel Casey bringing in some talent to come in off the bench to try to finish this one out and get playing time. Shot for three, no good by Grace Christian. Here comes the Comets on the rebound. Rushing, driving, good. And they're going to call jump ball. It'll stay for the Comets. I think Gabrielle Good thought it was a foul, but it wasn't. It was just a jump ball. As Randall will inbound it. Big throw. Eagles try to get their paws on it, pressuring one of our players, Krista Green. She goes down on the court, so does the Eagle, and they're going to say it's Eagles basketball.
Yeah, an offensive foul there. Aubrey Smith, they're taking, the foul and falling on the floor, but able to get back up and inbound the ball.
Three now for Clayton, none for the Eagles so far in this fourth period. Under 4 minutes remaining. Shot for three by Taylor. Laraway, no good, but there is a foul, and it's going to be against the Comets. Eagles will keep the basketball. They'll inbound it. Audrey Lester. Lester now back to Laraway. Laraway hands to Smith. Shot for three. Aubrey, no good. Aubrey Smith for the three. And the rebound back to the Comets. 3.5 minutes left in regulation period 4. Turnover. Miscommunication there, and Audrey Lester ready to take it away. Randall trying to pressure Lester. They're going to say basket and one and maybe even a foul.
Yeah, it was a foul there. And
so the Eagles are back within 20. (51-31), basket and one as Audrey Lester fouled by Randall will also get a chance to go to the free throw line here. So a basket and one. Randall being said that she fouled Lester when she put the basket in. So, and come back, respond. Clayton will. They'll put it in the net. 53-31. A timeout by Coach Daniel Casey of the Comets. They've got 3. Grace Christian has 2. And we're 3 minutes left here in the fourth period. Back in a moment. This is Comets basketball.
Timeout! Listen up, get tight.
This is the most important timeout I've ever called.
Things are getting out of control out there, and we need to regroup.
Hate.
Hate is winning out there.
Not on these fields.
In our communities. On our streets. In our schools.
And we need to stop it.
So let's take this moment
To change the momentum.
and call a timeout
On hate. Together.
Corinth Holders has just showed up. The Pirates and the Griffins of Rocky Mount, they'll play to determine who they will take on from this game. That'll be coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Boy, ball in, deflected, hit the referee in the chest. As Clayton and Grace Christian playing right now. Winner moves into the 4 o'clock game. Loser will move into the 10 o'clock game of the consolation game on Monday. And Corinth Holders and Rocky Mount will play later this afternoon, either or Clayton or Grace Christian. Right now, it looks like it's going to be a sunshiny day for Clayton.
Yes, Grace Christian's there. They were
put
able
up
to
a
hit
three.
a corner 3 there.
Corner 3 there for the Eagles, 53-34. Got a whistle. So there's going to be a foul called. They're going to call the foul on the senior number 44, Kennedy Barnes. And Clayton's going to the line. Want to make those points when you're at the Clayton Chiropractic free throw line. Subs are coming in and out. Krista Green at the line. She made the first one. 20-point lead. Trying to make it 21 points. It's like a football score now. Cannot. Got the rebound, though, back. Give it back to the Comets, and they'll find a 3. A W Energy 3 there. Well, that's the way to keep on playing, Ryan. Miss your free throw, get the rebound, shoot a W Energy 3, and it's 57-34. 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Down the stretch we go. Go back inside to Campbell. Campbell now Far right corner. Looking now for Aubrey Smith. Smith and Campbell. Somehow, Ryan, they've made it work to find a couple of threes there. Around the horn. Fires again for three. And bam, there's a sweet spot there. As number 33, Taylor Laraway, will find it again for the Eagles of Grace Christian and put it back up by 20. And we got another whistle coming up. Subs, players coming in and out. Coach Daniel Casey and Coach Hughes for Grace Christian letting players get playing time coming in and out to finish this game. 100 seconds remaining. Turnover. Clayton give it back to the Eagles. Audrey Lester. Lester looking now around the horn to Smith. Smith inside the lane. Back off the hand of Smith, and there's going to be a whistle and a foul. Nope, not a foul. It's just out of play. Blocked by Clayton, and it'll stay Eagles basketball. Aubrey Smith will inbound it. 84 seconds remain. Another deflection. Randall got her hands on it. Take away. A block the first time didn't work. This time it did, and she overshot. Even let the mop handle hit the court.
Yeah, just passed too far there for her. And
that was number 20 of Camille Souza.
Now Grace Christian will bring back the ball up court.
Aubrey Smith back to Taylor. Laraway, she's got that awesome spot to pivot her foot and shoot the three. And we're, ladies and gentlemen, 1 minute left to go in the first game of the 2025 John Jacobs Christmas Classic. Clayton right now leading. Grace Christian, though, finding the net again with Kendall Morris. 57-39. Clayton will await Rocky Mount or Corinth Holders. They play later on this afternoon. Another basket in for Audrey Lester. A little too late to try to find that now because it's over here, Ryan.
Yeah, a little bit too late, but,
play till the whistle blows, right?
Yeah, and you got to be prepared for, the games on the 29th. They've got to play one of the teams coming up, Rocky Mount or the Corinth Holders.
Randall tried to get the ball to number 20 of Camille Souza, and for the second time, they're just not in sync, and she's turned the ball out of play. Souza, not a name we mention usually on the court. She's getting some playing time here now for the Comets. Closing in on 10 minutes remaining in regulation. And for Coach Daniel Casey, as the new head coach of the Lady Comets, he'll get his first ever tournament win here at the John Jacobs Christmas Classic. As another basket will go in by Kendall Morris, but that's going to do it. 57-43. Your final. Clayton is going to win this game when it's all said and done. Clayton will advance to the winner bracket. They will face either Corinth Holders or Rocky Mount. Later on, they play at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Coming up next will be Wake Christian and Terry Sanford men. But the Pirates and the Griffins have history over the years in the tournament or in conference play with the Clayton Comets basketball, and we will face either or whenever they play later on. Clayton will advance, and Grace Christian will move into the consolation bracket for game on Monday at 10 a.m. Clayton will play Monday at 4. What you got is we're going to pack up and get out of here and get some lunch. Golden Corral on me.
Wonderful.
And we'll get ready to prepare to go to Goldsboro for later tonight. But your final score of this game, and Clayton getting a win, 57-43, the final, buddy.
Yeah, it was a great game by Clayton. They had some great scores tonight or today with Randall, getting that scoring going and getting that 20-point lead. And, they never looked back and, winning by this amount against a great team like Grace Christian is, a great statement for them. And,
for sure.
It lets everyone else know in the tournament that Clayton came here to win.
Yeah, I think that's a true statement for sure when it's all said and done. 57-43 when the game comes to an end here. Grace Christian will play in the consolation tournament of the bracket of either the whoever loses in the game later this afternoon between the Corinth Holders Pirates, who we played for a long time in conference play in the 4A, but also they moved up to the 8A classification this year. Clayton stayed in the 7A, but we played them over the years in basketball, baseball, football, you name it. And obviously, the Lady Pirates will host the Rocky Mount Griffins here in a 1 o'clock tip-off. The winner of that game will face Clayton. The loser of that game will go to the 10 a.m. game on Monday. So, Comet Country, in closing, Clayton basketball will play Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock for the Lady Comets. Ryan, your final take of this game, buddy. We'll pack her up, tear her down. Big thanks again, as always, to Melissa Hubbard, John S. Bussin, Joe Mott, everybody with Comets Athletics. Thank you to the Clayton Comets Athletic Boosters, Mr. Brian Hale, Daniel Bird, Shantae Woodard, Nathan Outlet on the camera, and your final take of this game, Brian Tomford.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was a little bit slow scoring at the beginning, but, in that second half, it was, tons of baskets at, a great win for Clayton to get this tournament started.
It was a great game indeed, and we are glad that you did join us for the tournament, no doubt about it. And when obviously it is said and done, it is a win for the Varsity Lady Comets. As back up inside the broadcast booth, we'll pack it up. Our equipment's right there. On to the next one, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
On to the next one.
On to Goldsboro.
Hey, listen, a phenomenal game indeed when it's all said and done. Big win for the Comets. And this is a comeback after their loss in conference to Southeast Raleigh last Friday night before Christmas, Ryan. So a good way for Clayton now to go to 6-2, 1-1 in conference play. Grace Christian Eagles will now fall again to 8-5.
Yeah, and 6-2 on the season, and you want to continue this winning ways and continue that into conference play later on in the year.
Well, that's going to do it. We thank you for joining us. All of that you saw on the camera. Now it's got to get tore down, packed up, and go from Clayton to Goldsboro for later tonight. Harrell's Christian, Crusaders, Clayton Comets, Terry Walls, Holiday Invitational, CRN back on the air on your radio dial. And we are CRN.com at 6:30. And the Clayton Ladies will play again Monday here at 4. Good afternoon.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
We now pause for station identification. This is the Community Radio Network, WCRN, 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Smithfield, North Carolina. Proud to be in the USA. We are CRN.
Local radio brings people together like never before.
It's a beautiful hometown weekend out there. We've got
Your local stations keep you informed and involved with music, talk shows, and real-time news updates you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters, connecting you to what matters most. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress to support your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Like, follow, and share the Community Radio Network via social media and Facebook at CRN, Community Radio Network. Also, check us out on X, Instagram, and TikTok at CRN Sports. As always, remember to listen to the games live on your radio dial at 87.9 FM and anywhere worldwide, always at wearecrn.com. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network. This is the Community Radio Network, WCRN, 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Smithfield, North Carolina. Proud to be in the USA. We are CRN.